Now, we couldn't do a Halloween episode without taking a look at one of my favourite genres, the slasher killer.
Of course.
From Michael Myers to Jason Voorhees to Freddy Krueger, there's just something brilliant about a big guy with a mask roaming around, slashing up co-eds from here to there.
Okay, well, I can't disagree. I mean, technically, Freddy Krueger didn't have a mask.
And he wasn't that big.
Horrific burns, but I do still take your point. They are very, very cool. Now, it's interesting with slasher films, they went from being quite scary back in the old days, sort of the original Halloween, Friday the 13th, through to now they're actually a combination of scary and hilarious.
Scalarious, and sometimes just plain hilarious.
It's true, yeah.
But I mean, with something that has such a strong archetype and obvious characters, you can kind of have a bit of fun with them and play around, and that's exactly what Hack Slash has done.
Yes, now in pretty much every slasher film, there's always a lone survivor, you know? It's usually a girl,
Plucky young girl.
may or may not be a virgin.
Doesn't matter.
We're not going to judge.
No.
In Hack Slash, this survivor is called Cassie Hack.
Now, what do you do once you've survived a slasher? I mean, really. Cassie decides to roam the countryside with her gigantic friend, Vlad, who is awesome.
He's great, yeah.
And hunt slasher killers and take them down.
Yeah.
Usually twice.
Yeah, no, you've got to do it twice.
Twice.
That's pretty
Always.
much a rule.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great setup for a lot of, tongue-in-cheek gags and genre twists.
Yes.
So, I mean, in Volume 1, First Cut, we get 3 separate stories with 3 different slashers. And I think Tim Seeley, the writer and creator of the series, he does a great job of keeping it inventive and keeping it fresh with every different killer.
He really does. I mean, each one of these stories basically is the basis of a really good B-grade slasher
Absolutely.
film. I'd watch them.
Yeah.
They'd be awesome. And I think my favourite one is the first story, Euthanized,
Ah, yeah.
where the slasher has at his command an army of zombie animals.
Okay. So why is it that you cannot handle zombie people,
Zombies.
but you're completely fine with a little zombie kitten?
Well, like, even with an ear missing and a bit of brain sticking out, it's still kind of cute.
I've said this before. You are a strange person, but I do have to agree. I think it's one of my favourites as well as the first one, largely because of Stefano Caselli's artwork in that
beautiful
one.
in that one.
Really like that, but I also really like the storyline as well.
Yeah, and the second and the third arc, the art's done by Federica Manfredi, but I think the artwork works just as nicely. I like them all.
Oh, look, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just I really like the detail in Caselli's work.
It's much more naturalistic than the others.
It is, and I think that worked in this. I mean, when you're booting, slicing, and shooting a multitude of undead creatures through
there is
the
a
air
multitude.
in any given frame, I think you need that level of detail.
You do. But I think in the art in each arc kind of matches in with the type of story that it is. Especially in the second one, you've got these really bright pastels, and it's set in spring break,
Yes.
which incidentally is the best place for a slasher story to be set.
Isn't it,
Wall to wall substance abuse and promiscuous co-eds. Come on, it's enough for anyone to get their stab on.
Okay, you're a little bit creepy, but yeah.
Slashes again.
I know, it does work well. I thought that was the funniest of the 3 as well.
There's a goat.
Yeah, there is a goat. Vlad brings home a goat. There's a few moments in there that gave me a nice little chuckle. I think overall, the third arc was probably the weakest. For me, that was because it got a little too self-referential.
Does.
I mean, it takes place at a comic convention, and it even features real-life comic creators like Steve Niles and Robert Kirkman showing up on the casualty list. It didn't quite land for me.
True, but I think the slasher in the third one was the only one that actually gave me the heebie-jeebies. Like, I actually went, yeah, when it showed up. It's quite creepy.
Yeah.
Having said that, though, I've loved all of them. I think they're so much fun. My only disappointment is that I didn't get into this earlier. I mean, Hack Slash has been around since 2004.
Okay, yeah.
On the upside, I now have so much reading to be done.
Yes, you
so
do.
many slashes to catch up on.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. This is definitely a buy from me.
Okay, well look, yeah, I'm going to say a buy as well.
Yep.
I think any fans of the slasher genre should definitely get into this one. They're definitely going to enjoy it. You know, it's massively violent. It's just chock full of action, and it is so darkly funny that you will fire chocolate milk out of your nose, even if you're not drinking any at the time.
What? God, you think I'm the strange one?
Yes, I do.